So here we are with question 2b of assignment 2 from Math 211, and we're presented with this problem where we have x double prime, the second derivative of x minus the 6 times the first derivative of x plus 10 times x is equal to 0 with these two initial conditions where when t is equal to 0, x is equal to 2. When t is equal to 0, x prime, the first derivative of x, is equal to 0. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we've done for the previous questions, is change this equation to m's. So substitute all these x's into m's. So we'll get an m squared here, since it's the second derivative, times minus 6 times m plus 10 is equal to 0. And we're going to go ahead and find our b squared minus 4ac here, which is equal to 36 minus 4 times 10, which is equal to minus 4. So that is, in fact, less than 0. That's 40 in case some of you don't know how to multiply. So minus 4 is actually less than 0. And we'll go ahead and continue with that. So now that we know it's less than 0, we know our form is going to be something like e to the phi t multiplied by sine, c1 cos psi t plus c2 sine psi t is equal to your x t. So now that we have that equation, we'll just go ahead and solve for our psi and phi. So that is equal to root 4ac minus b squared over 2a, which is basically 4 root 4, so that's going to be root 4, which is 2 over 2 times 1, which is 1, and then you have your phi, which is minus b over 2a, which is equal to minus 6, so minus 6, so that's 6 over 2, which is equal to 3. So you can just go ahead and substitute that in right over there. So your equation now looks like xt is equal to e to the power of 3t, all multiplied by c1 cos t plus c2 sine t. And I'm just going to go ahead and erase all this. And now it's time to actually solve for our c1 and c2. And before we do that, we'll get the first derivative of x, which is going to be basically e3 e to the power of 3et, all multiplied by c1 cos t plus c2 sine t plus e to the power of 3t multiplied by, now we're deriving the inside, so it's c1, negative c1 sine t plus c2 cos t, all multiplied by e. And basically that's our x, first derivative of x, and that's our x. And we're just going to go ahead and substitute these initial values in to solve for, to first get a relationship between C1 and C2, or maybe get a value for C1 or C2. So we'll go ahead and do that here. So we know that this is equal to 2 when our t is equal to 0. So e to the power of 0 multiplied by C1 cos 0 plus C2 sine 0. I can't make it. Anyways, sorry for that. And as we know, sine 0 is 0, and cos 0 is 1, and that's going to be 1. So you're just left with 2 is equal to c1. So now you actually have a value for c1. And I'm just going to go ahead and substitute that in all over here because I don't want to bother with arbitrary value. So that's going to be our negative 2 over here. Wow, it really gets messy when you... Negative 2 sine t. And now we're going to go ahead and substitute this in here. So our derivative of is 0 is equal to 0 when t is equal to 0. So again, this is just going to be 3 times 1 multiplied by 2 cos 0 plus c2 sine 0 plus e to the 0, 2, negative 2 sine 0 plus c2 cos 0. This is 1, this is all 0, this is 1, this is all 0, this is 1. So you're just left with zeros equal to 6 plus c2. So you get your c2 is equal to negative 6. So now we can just go ahead and substitute for our c2 and c1 in our main equation, and it'll look something like this. X of t is equal to e to the power of 3t multiplied by 2 cos t plus, well, not plus, minus 6 sine t. And that's your, well, you could take the 2 out if you want, but that's essentially your final answer.